Good morning, good morning, good morning. What a great and fantastic morning. It is a happy new day. Why? Because our Creator breathed life into you this morning and breathed life into me this morning, woke us up this morning to share this new happy day, to rejoice and be glad in it. Why? Because our Creator uses shattered, wounded, and broken people like me and like you to rescue wounded, shattered, and broken people like me and like you. Therefore, we should give Him the honor, the praise, and the acknowledgement, and give Him homage to those who are tuning in this second, this moment, for this hour. Obviously, you were chosen. And the Free to Hope presents these 12 steps being applied to COVID-19 because in the 12-step program, we believe we are chosen to go through what we go through in order to be delivered by our Creator, in order to save one more life, one more family, one more culture, one more city, community, state, country, and around the world as we simultaneously deal with this knee-bowing experience. But there is a solution, and it is the 12 steps that were created by Alcoholics Anonymous over 80 plus years ago. I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous, but I've been a proud member for over 30 plus years. And if God deems that I wake up on February the 23rd of 2021, we will celebrate 31 years free from addiction, alcoholism, and the entire lifestyle that goes with those diseases. But I also survived COVID-19 along with 7 other family members back in November, December of 2020. We know that some have met the devastating outcome of COVID-19 through suffering, through being infected, and ultimately transitioning. So for that, we want to give a moment of silence just for 30 seconds to give homage to our Creator who knows the beginning, the middle, and the end of this pandemic, and also for the entire human race who are simultaneously around the globe being impacted, affected with COVID-19 and the other variants that are upon us. But we also want to give homage to those who don't yet believe. We want to include them in the entire human race as well with this moment of silence. Because the question becomes, are you in the prevention mode, intervention mode, or restoration mode of COVID-19? Are you in the proactive, inactive, reactive, or responsible mode of COVID-19? Only you can answer that question. So let's give homage to our Creator who breathed life into you this morning, breathed life into me this morning, and we can make this a happy new day in spite of what's going on around the world, because the 12 steps are spiritual in nature. And once we continue to learn about them, embrace them, analyze, evaluate them, apply them, and practice them, we will learn to deal with any physical condition from a spiritual angle. Join me in 30 seconds of silence in homage to our Creator and the entire human race as we deal with this COVID-19 pandemic. Join me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those who are unable to say thank you, those who won't say thank you, those who can't say thank you, allow me to say thank you on their behalf, because we know from a 12-step program the importance of acknowledging and giving homage to the Creator and whoever is suffering with this COVID-19 pandemic. And as you can see, I am wearing my mask. It belongs to one of my sponsors, which I want to give homage to and acknowledge as well. So let me go up here and bring to you information that belongs to and support of my sponsors. Now, the information is free to the public. Information is free because when you attend and be a part of a 12-step program, there is no cost. However, I am sharing my own experience, strength, and hope, not representing any 12-step program, but sharing my experience, strength, and hope of utilizing the 12 steps in all my affairs. And so it is free to the public, but I have sponsors who said, Edwina, you're doing a great job. You're getting the word out. You are encouraging people, and we want to support your cause so that you can expand your platform to as many outlets as possible around the world simultaneously so that we all can contribute to being a part of the solution. So the first sponsor I want to acknowledge, of course, is God Almighty. Yes, the Creator, the higher power, the universe, the force, whoever you choose to call that Creator, I call him God, and I thank him for being the sponsor. But I also want to thank Free to Hope, LLC. Free stands for From Recovery, Emerge Empowered, to give hope to others. My next sponsor is Women Do Haul Transportation Services, LLC. Mr. C's Barbershop. If you've been admiring my crown, it is produced by Mark Cooper of Mr. C's Barbershop. If you have been admiring some of my attire, they are supported and sponsored by Morgans of Delaware. My Afrocentric attire is from Lady T at Morgans of Delaware. And if you look at the mask that I'm wearing now, Divine Light Inc., a nonprofit organization that's a recovery treatment program providing supportive housing in Philadelphia, Baltimore, and now here in Wilmington. And I, as the host of Free to Hope, will wear your mask supporting your organization or your agency, and us will also advertise and promote your business as one who are in support of this cause to save a life. So if you're out there, if you are an individual or a business and you want to be one of my sponsors, please cash app $ Free to Hope or contact me, edwina.bell@yahoo.com, or call me at 302-690-6900. 6679 for more information. We want to be able to present to you who is in support of this COVID-19 and the solutions. All right, so let me take off this mask now so that I can talk to you a little more freely. But to also emphasize the importance of wearing that mask. And so, as you will see in my banner, that we want to encourage you to wear a mask, wash your hands, social distancing, get tested, and get vaccinated. Yes, if we individually and collectively do those simple suggestions, apply the 12 steps that are spiritual in nature, we can stop the perpetuation of COVID-19, its devastating effects, impact, outcomes, and fatalities. I want to show you that if you are from Missouri, not literally, but show you how I was able to get vaccinated with the first shot, to be an attraction and be an example to others. I did my research, my homework, in order to dispel the rumors and the wrong information and the myths, right, that I had about the vaccine, right, and this vaccination process. I did my own research, homework, and asked the questions and found out that the vaccine does not prevent you from contracting COVID-19. What it does is decrease the severity of the symptoms associated with COVID-19. Therefore, I am not likely to be hospitalized as a result of taking this vaccine. And there's a great percentage that I won't meet the fatality of COVID-19 by taking this vaccination shot. So let me share with you the process that I went through after having contracted COVID-19, infecting members of my family back in November and December of 2020, and received the vaccination shot. It'll be a week tomorrow, and my arm is a little bit sore, but guess what? In my addiction, in my early recovery, I had to take needles for different things that I contracted out there as a prostitute. Yes, the STDs, the syphilis, the herpes, the gonorrhea, all that comes with that lifestyle. And whatever ones that I was affected with, I got a vaccination, right? I got a shot. So I'm not afraid to take the vaccine to prevent the severity of the symptoms of COVID-19. So I encourage you, age appropriate, to take the vaccination shot. Continue even afterwards to wash your hands, social distance, and wear that mask. There are some new information about fraudulent masks and all that. Continue to do your research. Continue to ask questions. Do not take people's words for granted. Do your own research. Okay? And so let me show you my getting the vaccine shot, all right? Here we go. Let's start again. Wait a minute.
All right, here we go, my daughter. Got it.
I am excited about getting that vaccine shot. I'm wearing my mask and it's being administered by Dr. Joan Coker. And it was my church, Canaan Baptist Church, that um, prompted all of its members, right, to get the vaccine shot. Canaan Baptist Church, where my pastor, Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock, resides. And it was well, I'm gonna call him Dr. Reverend Robert Daniels, who called me and said, Edwina, I dreamt about you. And we talked about the dream, but I also want to let you know that the vaccination is available through Canaan Baptist Church. And after talking to him, I said, when, where? And listen, I went right after that phone call, only to find out I had to go through the process. But I was eager to get that vaccination shot because I know what it's like to be affected with COVID-19. So if you want to go back to day 1 of 69, which is December the 3rd, you will see that I do not look like what I've been through. I didn't have my pearly white dentures in. I was sickly. I was achy. I couldn't smell. I could not breathe. I could not smell. I could not taste. But if you want to go back to my introduction of the 12 steps, go back to April the 1st of 2020 and day 1 that was initiated by reading an article by Dr. Scott T. Allison. And in that article, Dr. Allison talked about using the 12 steps from the Al-Anon perspective, right? And how using seven points, we can use the wisdom of the 12-step programs during the month of April of 2020 when we were asked to be shut down, shut in, and using the Al-Anon 12-step program, which uses the same one that was created by Alcoholics Anonymous, used by Gamblers Anonymous, Sex Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and now COVID-19 Anonymous. So go and do your own research and read the details of these 7 crucial points that can be applied in your life and in the world. 1, letting go of control. 2, patience. 3, keeping the focus on oneself. 4, trust. 5, living in the present. 6, social connections. And 7, service to others. Please go and do your research about that. Now I want to share with you, for those who don't remember, those who need to be reminded of what the 12 steps are as we apply them to COVID-19. 1, we admitted we were powerless over COVID-19, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, soundness of mind regarding COVID-19. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him regarding COVID-19. 4, made a searching and fearless more inventory of ourselves regarding COVID-19. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs regarding COVID-19. And this is the one that we're presently on and have been for the last 9 days. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character regarding COVID-19. Let's continue. Recovery principle number 7, humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings regarding COVID-19. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all regarding COVID-19. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others, even you, regarding COVID-19. 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it regarding COVID-19. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry it out regarding COVID-19. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others regarding COVID-19 and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And so the 12 steps I have been working and practicing for over 30 plus years, one day at a time, for my disease of alcoholism, drug addiction, and all related behaviors. And you would have thought that I would have applied it to COVID-19, but I didn't. Because I, like you may, had that attitude of being invincible. I was defiant, maybe that's you. I was rebellious, maybe that's you. I was in denial, maybe that's you. I did not believe it would happen to me. It would happen to those people, just like you. I was stubborn. I was self-centered. I was not going to be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Maybe just like you. And therefore, I know I contributed to contracting COVID-19 as well as infecting members of my family, my grandchildren from the age of 2 up until 78. So even with having the knowledge of the 12 steps, I did not apply it to COVID-19. But it was my creator who said, Edwina, no problem. I'm going to choose you to live. I'm going to choose you to share your experience, your strength, your hope, your wisdom, your lack of wisdom, your bad choices, and your bad decisions of how you contributed to contracting COVID-19. And I want you to share it with as many people as you can. Because if you can save one life, one family, one culture, one community, one city, one state, one country, just one, and you encourage others to do the same, then I obligate you. I'm making you responsible to be transparent and to be honest, and now to share these 12 spiritual principles using this format and as many other platforms that become available to you. Do you hear me, Edwina? I was like, yes, Lord. Oh, yes, use me, Lord. Okay, so we know that in a 12-step program, there are certain things that are said that we can apply to COVID-19. One of them is some of us must die in order for some of us to live. You may say, oh, that's so hard that's harsh to say, but guess what? It's the truth. In the 12-step program, we learned that some people are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. And we say that they are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are incapable, constitutionally incapable of being honest. This COVID-19 is real. This COVID-19 has killed millions and will continue to. And if you ask those who are left behind from those who have transitioned, and I suggest you do, and I'm going to bring some of them on as well, you will hear them say, I wish I could have. I wish I should have. I wish I would have. What? The if I could have, would have, should have? They are now doing something differently. But if they have not accessed the 12 spiritual steps, they are in a state of remorse, of regret, of feeling guilty. But guess what? They too can be set free to help save the lives that are still breathing, that are yet alive. So it's not too late to make a change, to have an impact, right? There's something else that we say in our 12-step program, right? It says that what? When we come together to fellowship with one another, we share our experience, our strength, our hope, and our wisdom of those old and existing attitudes, ideas, and behaviors that contributed to those character defects of being defiant, of being resistant, of being rebellious, of being self-centered, of being egotistical, of being prideful. Yes. We learned that by applying these 12 spiritual principles and going back to as far as we can to find out where they were formulated, by who, and what situation, what circumstances, because we need to become aware and acknowledge what contributed to that existing mindset. And once we, as a fellowship, share our experience, strength, and hope with each other, we learn from each other. They say a smart person learns from his own mistakes, but a wise person learns from his mistakes as well as the mistakes of others. So that's why sharing is so important. Getting what we concealed for so long and reveal it, to be set free from recovery, emerge empowered to do what? To give hope to others, help others prosper equally. And that's why these 12 spiritual steps are crucial to applying them as a solution to this physical condition. Because now we are dealing with it from a spiritual angle. Yes, we are. Yes, we can. And yes, we will. In order to stop the perpetuation of the devastating outcomes, effect, impact, and fatalities of COVID-19. Do you want to be a part of the solution? Are you wearing a mask now like me? Are you washing your hands now like me? Are you social distancing now like me? Have you yet got your vaccination shot like me? I now am a part of the solution and no longer a part of the problem, but it was applying these 12 spiritual principles that helped me be restored to sanity. As Dr. Carl Jung, Dr. Bob, and Bill W. said in Alcoholics Anonymous, people like us with these diseases of addiction need a psychic change. Yes. So when we embark on these 12 spiritual principles, it will create a spiritual transformation in addressing our old and existing attitudes, ideas, and behaviors, to give us a new spiritual perspective, to develop spiritual attitudes, ideas, behaviors, and we make those choices and those decisions from a spiritual angle, dealing with these physical conditions. Yes, we can and we will. We must stop the perpetuation of this COVID-19. It's not the first time man has experienced a pandemic, and it won't be the last. So let us continue with recovery principle number 5. And I suggest you go back to my previous podcast. They're on YouTube. They're on my Edwina B Facebook page. I'm going to upload them to my free conversation with Edwina B. I'm going to upload as many as I can so that I can contribute just to save one more life, one more family, one more culture. Contribute to our community, our city, our state, our country. And if we do this simultaneously around the world in a holistic approach of washing your hands, wearing a mask, social distancing, and getting vaccinated, that's the holistic approach. We can stop the perpetuation of COVID-19. All right, so it's that time now for us to continue on recovery principle number 5. So let's do the quick overview. And y'all know that For me, repetition is important. And as in all 12-step programs, they read the same information over and over every day. They have people who share their experience, strength, and hope at various times. But the foundation, the preparation of the 12 steps is important in order to plant a seed of willingness, to plant a seed of open-mindedness, to plant a seed of honesty. And so if you want to know how the 12-step works, it's in the how: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. So the foundation of the 12 steps that I use is Jason Waller, JASONWAHLER, and go to jasonwaller.com, extract and download his breakdown of all the steps so that you can follow with me and so that you can meditate, pray on them, work on them, apply them while we are simultaneously having these recovery conversations, okay? So we talked about Jason Waller breaking down step 5. We talked about why we should take the step 5. We talked about we're on the question now. We're talking about breaking the cycle of some old attitudes, ideas, and behaviors. So let's continue with that recovery principle number 5, and let me share that with you as we continue to review the information. Okay, so we know recovery principle number 5 states: admit it to God as you understand him, her, the force, ourselves, and another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. We know that admit means to confess, get what's concealed and reveal it, confess to be true or to be the case, typically with reluctance. Not many of us want to admit the truth, but the sooner we admit the truth, the sooner we can get better. Some of the questions we are going to dissect and have been dissecting is: 1, what do you believe is the importance of admitting your wrongs to another human being? 2, what do you think will be the benefit for this disclosure? 3, how do you decide to whom to share this information with? And 4, how does one get to the exact nature? Well, guess what? We got the answers to those questions. And before we get started, let's talk about recovery principle number 4. When I shared with you how contracting COVID-19, I had to apply this 4th step to COVID-19. And they suggest that resentment is the first character defects that we need to address right away, because it's resentments that keep us in that defiant, resistant, rebellious, egotistical, self-centered, selfish mode and mindset. So we want to be able to list our resentment. And so when I applied resentment to COVID-19 in step 4, I'm going to show you how I got to the exact nature to give you an example what this process will be like. So my resentment against COVID-19, it was the creation of the virus. Why? What was the cause of my resentment, right? It created uncertainty in my life and in the world. What feelings did I have about this cause and against this COVID-19 and the resentment that I have? It was mixed. I had feelings of anger, anxiety, fear, confusion. And how did it affect me? It affected my entire existence. And what part did I play in it? I was just another innocent victim of the human race, right? Now, I also had a resentment against myself. Yes, the resentment against myself was regarding my decisions and my choices. I made bad decisions. I made bad choices regarding the severity of COVID-19. Why did I make those bad decisions and those bad choices? What was the cause? Because I took it for granted. I was defiant. I was rebellious. I had an attitude of being invincible. What feelings did it create in me? Feelings of stupidity, anger, grief, watching my 2-year-old suffer like that, right? Who did it affect? It affected members of my family and me. And what part did I play in it? I did not take heed to all the CDC suggestions consistently. That's why I have a resentment towards myself. I picked and choose when I was going to wear a mask. I picked and choose when I was going to wash my hands. I picked and choose who I was going to be around. So, Edwina, if these are your character defects, if you have these resentments, let's get to the exact nature of where this came from. There's nothing wrong with you. We need to find out what happened to you. And when we find out what happened to you by getting to the exact nature, then you can get the help that's available. Does that make sense? So again, look at this screen. So I don't know what your resentment is against COVID-19, but here's my example. I don't know what your resentment would be towards yourself, but here is my example. And this is my example of how I was able to get to the exact nature. All right. And so we know that when we apply recovery principle number 5, admit it to God, to ourselves, and to another human being. God already knows. I already know what I was, what I said, what I did. And I selected an individual. And guess what? It could be you, because I'm sharing it with you, right? You may be that other human being, right? But no, I did talk to someone in my 12-step program to help me get to the exact nature of why I did not apply these 12 spiritual principles to COVID-19. Therefore, I could have stopped the possibility of contracting it, and I also could have stopped the possibility of infecting members of my family. So let's look at how the 5th step is applied. So I shared with you that my resentment of COVID-19, okay, and that I experienced all these different feelings, but in talking to you and talking at my 12-step meeting and talking with others, I learned that I had anger. That resentment was masked by anger. That anger was masked by uncertainty. That uncertainty was masked by confusion. That confusion was masked by frustration. That frustration was masked by disbelief. And ultimately, I got to the exact nature, which was fear. I was fearful. Even with this spiritual information, I did not apply these spiritual principles with this physical condition, and therefore I had fear. That was the exact nature. Let's go over to the exact nature towards myself, okay? I shared with you having a resentment against myself basically because I had regrets, I had remorse, I felt guilty. But how did I get to the exact nature? Well, first, stupidity. Once I contracted COVID-19 and saw what I was going through, once I infected members of my family and saw what they were going through, I felt so stupid. So stupidity was masked from resentments. And defiance, right, was masked from stupidity, right? What was the mask for defiance and rebellion? What was that masked by? Selfishness. Selfishness was masked by self-centeredness, and that self-centeredness was masked by regrets and remorse. And so what was the exact nature, Edwina, towards yourself regarding your actions, your choices, your decisions? It was fear. I was fearful. right? I wanted to place more emphasis on self and not others. And I resented myself for that. And recovery in the 12-step program, when we use the acronym for fear, before we got into recovery, we used the physical condition and applied fear to it. So when we applied fear to our physical condition, many of us wanted to forget everything and run. We wanted to deny. We wanted to ignore. We wanted to stay in disbelief. We did not want to accept. We did not want to acknowledge. Why? Because it was based on fear of the physical condition. Okay? And so when we forget everything and run, we do not face the truth. We do not face reality. We do not acknowledge what's real. We are still in denial until such time that particular situation, particularly COVID-19, when it hits you like it did me, oh Lord. But I tell you what, I didn't go back to drinking again. I didn't go back to drugging again. No, I did not. I applied the spiritual angle of fear to this physical condition. And it says for us to face everything and recover. Face everything and recover. Do you hear me? Face everything and recover. That means I'm applying these 12 spiritual principles, because our higher power, once you learn the spiritual realm of things, did not give us a spirit of fear, but of faith, right? And so when I face everything and recover, I take that spiritual angle and apply it to these physical conditions, particularly COVID-19. All right. So let's go on to the next slide, where we're going to see how Jason Waller applies these various questions. And if you want to go back to my previous podcast to see how we dug deep into these questions, please do. But I want to get to the other questions as we continue enlightening and inspiring and motivating others to embrace, analyze, dissect, right? Apply and practice these 12 spiritual principles towards COVID-19. All right, so Jason Waller's first question was, how long have I been living alone without secrets and wrongs? So when we go back in our fourth step, we will find out where those attitudes, ideas, and behaviors about concealing our secrets and not ever revealing them, right? How long? How do you feel about admitting your wrongs to another? Well, we go back to our fourth step and we do that inventory, we will find out being embarrassed, being afraid of being judged and criticized, okay? The next one, am I ready to share and let go of anything that hinders my acceptance, responsibilities regarding COVID-19? Well, when you do your fourth step like I did, you better believe I needed to get rid of everything that was hindering me from taking the simple suggestions of COVID-19, CDC's, the 12 spiritual principles, remove them all. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Again, go back to my previous archives podcast to see the depths of these questions and our response to them. Question 2 says, what reservations do I have about working my fifth step? Okay, and I told y'all that I applied the fifth step that I did in Alcoholics Anonymous to COVID-19. The reservations about working the fifth step. Someone's going to say, Edwina, with all that information you had, you did this, you made that decision, What kind of reservations did you have, right? Did you believe it was going to go away? Did you believe that it wasn't going to happen? Did you believe it was going to disappear? What? So I had to remove whatever reservations I had regarding the severity and the outcome and the fatalities of COVID-19. I no longer have reservations, but you doing this step the first time need to acknowledge if you do. Because in my fifth step with alcohol and drugs, I kept a reservation that I'm going to get high off of something. At the age of 34, you mean I can't drink a drug the rest of my life? Oh, no. I got to have a reservation to drink at my wedding, to drink at a funeral. Oh, no. I want to have a reservation about substituting alcohol for marijuana, substituting marijuana for speed pills, right? Those are reservations. I had to pray for God to remove those reservations so that it would not hinder me from getting sober and clean one day at a time, removing all reservation. So I ask you, when you approach your fifth step, to think about what reservations you may have regarding working the fifth step. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Okay, we want to demonstrate to you and ask you question number 3 that we talked about yesterday. Can I acknowledge and accept the exact nature of my wrongs? So when I did my fifth step regarding this, Edwina, fear was the exact nature of your bad decisions. Fear was the exact nature of your bad choices. Fear was the exact nature of you being defiant and being rebellious and being selfish and being self-centered and being egotistic. What? It was fear, the exact nature. So yes, I acknowledge and I accept the exact nature of my wrongs, because the exact nature contributed to the problem, was not a part of the solution, and it affected members of my family. So yes, I needed to acknowledge and accept that fear promoted me to do and make those wrong decisions and those wrong choices. Okay, so let's go on to the next question of Jason Waller. All right, and see what he is saying. Now, we want to ask the question, do I believe that working my fifth step will make my life better? If so, how? So let's break this down, okay? Do I believe? Do I believe? That's a strong question. Ask yourself, do you believe that me sharing my experience, my strength, my hope, my wisdom, my lack of wisdom, my bad choices, my bad decisions regarding COVID-19, do you believe me? Do you believe these statistics? Do you believe the experience of others? Do you see, the tangible evidence? Does that help you to believe? So do you believe in the outcomes of this COVID-19? The severity of the symptoms, they are real. That will make a believer out of you. It made a believer out of me. You better believe I believe. No. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't taste. Couldn't smell. My body ached like a toothache. Yes, I believe that COVID-19 is real. I see it. But I now see it from my spiritual eyes, not my physical eyes. I hear it with my physical ears, but I'm listening with my spiritual ears in order to help me believe. So the question again is, I believe that working? Working. So if I believe, right, that working, my fifth step, working, that means, do I believe that working my fifth step will make my life better? Well, here's proof. And if you saw that picture of my opening page where I have side by side what I looked like with COVID-19. And compared to some, they were simple symptoms. But to me, listen, not being able to breathe, not being able to smell, not being able to taste, my body, look, it was real to me. And that's what this recovery principles do. They apply them to you. But we learn from other people's experiences. Because there, by the grace of God, there go I. There, by the grace of God, there go my grandchildren, other family members. And there, by the grace of God, go you. So do you believe that working your fifth step will make your life better? So if it made my life better and I'm sharing it with you, it could make your life better, right? And if you share it with your family members, it can help make their lives better. And if we share it with our culture, it will make our culture lives better, our community, our city, our state, our country. And if we do it simultaneously and holistically, we can make each other's life better in spite of COVID-19. Because we're dealing with it from a spiritual angle and applying it to these physical conditions. That's how your life is going to get better. Your psychic change is going to help you, if we do it simultaneously, the world create a psychic change in following the simple suggestions that are designed to save your life, my life, and the lives of our fellow human beings. Wear the mask. Look, I can breathe. You can hear me, right? I'm wearing one of my sponsors' masks, right? Divine Light. You can hear me. I can breathe. Wear the mask. I can wash my hands, I am no longer visiting people I don't need to. I am no longer participating in gatherings unless they are within my immediate circle. I am not going out to public places unless I have to. So I am social distancing, and I got the vaccine shot. Yes, I did. So my life is going to be a whole lot better dealing with this physical condition from a spiritual angle. So do you believe, based on what we've been talking about, based on the evidence, based on the statistics, the data? In other words, do your own research. Dispel whatever rumors you have. Talk to those individuals who've lost loved ones, who suffered from it. And I'm going to be bringing some of them on to help you believe even the more when you hear from the horse's mouth. All right? So do you believe that working this fifth step will make your life better? Why? Because it will help you get to the exact nature of why you are like you are. Why you have that negative attitude, idea, behavior. Why you make those wrong decisions. Why you make those wrong choices. Well, if you apply and work these the fifth step and apply all of them, your life will be so much better. I'm telling you. I'm proof. I'm proof. I am proof. And one day I hope you will be on here sharing the same thing, that you believe and you work the steps and your life is better. All right? Woo! All right, so let me take this off for a minute, okay? And get back to some more questions. You enjoying this? I know I am. So the fourth question of Jason Waller's on the fifth step, right? Replacing the focus of alcohol to COVID-19. Do you believe that working your my fifth step will make your my life better? And how? And I just described it. All right. So let's go to the next question. All right. And we're going to see what the fifth question is. All right. So we are getting things done here. All right. So the fifth question is, did I set a time and place for my fifth step? When and where? So as you have been listening to me, hopefully you have extracted the 12 steps from Jason Waller's website, jasonwaller.com, and you read the preparation information, the foundation to encourage you, to inspire you to do these 12 spiritual principles and apply them in all your affairs, but particularly with COVID-19. So once you have been convinced, once you are determined to have done your fifth step, want to set up your fifth step, then I need to ask you, listen, I'm from Missouri too. So when did you set it up? What time? Where? Where are you going to do it? With whom are you going to do it with? What time? I'm from Missouri. Show me. I hear what you're saying, but I want to see the appointment. I want to see the time. I want to see the place. I want to see the person. And if you need a person to do your fifth step with, I am available. Call me if you need someone to talk to. Remember that? Call me. Huh? No longer from the physical plane, but from a spiritual angle, addressing these physical conditions. So when you have made up your mind to do the fifth step, set up a time and a place, and let me share with you the importance of selecting the individual that you will be doing your fifth step with. As you can see, I'm transparent. As you can see, I hold nothing back. As you can see, I will tell you the truth. I am no longer afraid of being exposed. I am totally transparent. I've been set free from recovery, emerged empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. So when you select your person to share your fifth step with, to help you get to the exact nature of your wrongs, of those character defects, it doesn't need to be your friend. It doesn't need to be your pastor. It needs to be someone who is objective, who will tell you the truth, who will not accept your BS, who will cut through the chase of all that jargon. No. And that's the kind of person you want, because we have no time to waste. Every second is important. Ask those who are trying to breathe how important each breath is. We don't have time to waste. We don't have time to waste. So pick an individual that values time. Man is on secular time, but our Creator is on sacred time. The time is now to wear the mask, to social distance, to wash your hands, to get tested, to get vaccinated. The time is now. Don't keep putting it off, because it might cost you your life and the lives of others. So we're going to continue this question tomorrow, if it's God's will that we meet on day 70 of the F.R.E.E. to H.O.P.E, 12 steps being applied to COVID-19. And the question remains, are you in the prevention mode, intervention mode, or the restoration mode of COVID-19? Are you being proactive, reactive, inactive, or responsible regarding COVID-19? In the meantime, be safe. I just encourage you that if his will, that he breathe life into us, tomorrow we will be reunited. In the meantime, I want you to once again look at my vaccination, right? Let's do that.
Next week,
Okay.
stop here. Hey, take
All right.
I think I got some.
Let's start again. They rubbing my little arm. I had no after effects. I'm scheduled to get my second shot in about another 3 weeks. And what? I had to lead by example. So you too can lead by example and share your testimony, but be honest, be open minded, and be willing to share the truth and nothing but the truth that can save your life and the lives of others. Okay, so until tomorrow, day 70, let me close with acknowledging once again my sponsors. To God be the glory. Be safe.